Did you know I'm a total quitter? Yep. Stuff that's not serving me, I will quit it so that I can achieve my goals. And today on Free Mama Radio, I want you to hear from the horse's mouth the 3 things you have got to quit if you want to achieve your goals too.
You're listening to Free Mama Radio, where we believe you can have both a successful business and show up as the mom you want to be. I'm your host, Lauren Golden, a mom who built a full-time income working part-time hours. Now, I help other moms like you learn how to work from home on your own terms, take control of your schedule, and make more money so you can live a totally awesome, guilt-free life. I am on a mission to make sure that no mother has to choose between family and financial stability. So if you've been wondering, can I really have it all? This podcast will give you the answers. Hey, Free Mama, how are we doing today? I am just coming off of the high of the Free Mama Radio launch, and I just want to say thank you so much for your support, for listening, for subscribing, to all of the people who sent in reviews. I mean, goodness gracious, it's just been a whirlwind. You know, we've been through so much over the last few months as a species. This whole global pandemic has been really overwhelming, and to go through 3 quarantine birthdays and a Mother's Day and multiple launches of things inside of my business with my amazing team, it's just been a lot. And I'm sure I will do a podcast episode on expectations because it's one of my 3 favorite words. If you are a member of the Free Mama community, you know that I talk a lot about communication, expectations, and boundaries because I believe most of the world's problems could be solved if we were better at navigating those 3 things. But today I want to talk about this idea that if we focused on the right things, we actually wouldn't have to do as much. How good does that sound, right? Like, it's been so much lately. Like, I don't know about you guys, but all of a sudden I went from like chauffeur, cook, maid, mom, business owner, team manager, team captain, like just piano practice supervisor, like all of the things, right? Like we do all, plus, you know, taking care of my body and my mind and being there for my husband, being a wife and a daughter and a friend. And we do a lot, right? And I think one of the things that this pandemic has done is given us all a little bit of perspective, and it's given us a little bit of time to slow down. I'm no longer the chauffeur. I haven't left my house hardly in months, right? Like some of these responsibilities were stripped from us, but at the same time, we were given some new ones. I became a homeschooling parent, which I'm sure a lot of you all can relate to. And so it's just been interesting to watch how our capacities, our ability to take on new things have kind of expanded and retracted over the last few months. But there's no doubt that it's been a lot emotionally and mentally. But what we're going to dive into is this idea that sometimes I think as women, but especially as mothers, we take on a lot of stuff that it's just frankly not serving us. And it kind of plays into this idea that I have, that busy is a dirty word, and that we live in a society that sort of glamorizes this idea of doing more and more and more and almost being a martyr. Do you guys know any martyrs in your life? The people who like want you to know what they do so badly, even though it's like, it's hurting them, it's breaking them inside. Like someone who's always giving to someone else so much, but to the point that they can't take care of themselves, and therefore that almost becomes a burden. Like, that's what we've done with this idea of being busy and taking on a lot of the mental and emotional and the time bandwidth of what's going on in our lives and our families' lives. So what I want to focus on today is quitting. And if you've read my book, you know that I'm a quitter. In the Free Mama book, I talk about this idea that sometimes so that we can have more, so that we can become more, and so that we can do more of what is in alignment with our values, we actually have to quit doing things that aren't serving us. Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? Would you like to do less? Would you like to not go through life feeling like it's been a lot? It's a lot. Like, what are you doing? I'm busy. I've got a lot. And so I want to talk about some of the things that aren't serving you in your life and in your business in particular. So I've actually broken this down into 3 things that I would like you to stop doing. the first thing I would like you to stop doing, because it is not serving you, is to stop hiding where people won't see you. Let me explain. Some of you guys are playing really small. Some of you guys know what you want. Maybe you don't want to make $1 million. Maybe you want to make $100. Maybe you just want something that can be yours, that you can be proud of, that brings in a little bit of income so that you have some play money. It doesn't matter. That's fine. Your goals are your goals, and they're nobody else's business. But what I know about the Free Mama community and just the internet in general is that you have all the information you need to be successful. But for some reason, we love to fill our time with not doing the things we should be doing, not doing the things that will serve us in our business. And a big way I see people doing this is by hiding. We hide behind Canva and creating a pretty branding board because it feels good. It makes us feel like we're working and we're being productive on our business, and it's beautiful and it's safe and nobody is going to judge us for it. But the reality is it's not making us any money and it's not getting us closer to our goals. Another way I see people doing this is building a Facebook page and posting to it, but not making any posts or optimization to your personal profile or networking with other people. You are hiding behind this thing that very few people are actually going to see, and you're coming up with reasons why you can't play bigger, even though you know that it's a part of the process of following strategies and systems that have been proven over and over to help you be effective and actually hit your financial goals. Another way I see people doing this is making over their website for the first, second, third, 18th time before they actually publish it, because you're convincing yourself that it's not good enough or you're not ready. And so I really want to encourage you to stop hiding where people won't see you. If people don't see you, you will not have a business, which means you will not reach your goals. And isn't that why you're here? Isn't that why you're listening to this podcast right now? Because there's something bigger waiting for you. There's something more that you want. There's a potential that you haven't tapped into yet, or a lifestyle that you aspire to. Stop hiding where people won't see you. There's a Laurenism. Yes, I just went ahead and coined that term to talk about something that I say all the time inside of the Free Mama community. There's a Laurenism that says, if nobody knows what you're doing, how can they connect you with the people you're meant to serve? And so I beg of you, Mama, please stop hiding where people won't see you. Get loud and proud about who you are, all your imperfections and the things you don't know, because believe it or not, people don't expect you to have everything figured out or to know everything before you've even begun. And be willing to make mistakes publicly, but authentically. Another Laurenism for you is that I always tell people to show up online, be you, but use a filter. Like, show up as the best version of yourself. Isn't that what social media is all about anyway? So show up as a positive, caring, confident person, even if you don't feel that way on the inside. Even if you've never had a client before, show up as a virtual assistant when you network online. Don't wait until you've become a virtual assistant before you start playing that role. It actually has to happen backwards. So my first tip, the first thing I need for you to do so that it doesn't feel like so much, so that it feels more manageable, and so that your time is being used wisely instead of just being busy for busy's sake, is to stop hiding where people won't see you. Now, my second tip for you, and by tip, I mean request. Let's just call this what this is. These aren't tips. I need you to do these things, because if you don't, you're not going to get where you want to go. And this podcast is not going to serve its purpose. So my second actionable item for you, my plea for you, is to please stop getting distracted, comparing yourself to others, and suffering from FOMO. Now, if you're not a millennial, FOMO means the fear of missing out. Stop letting other people have power over you and how you're living your life, okay? Let's break this down into some examples. You know that you're easily distracted if you get on social media to network, and an hour later, you realize you haven't interacted with anyone as a business owner. We call this the mindless scroll. It is not serving you at all. Now, here's the good news. There are ways for you to eliminate distractions on your own. There are actually software plugins that you can use that will hide your newsfeed. Yep, just make it disappear so you can't even do it. You will have to actively go into groups to engage with people and stay on point. You could actually remove social media apps from your phone. You can unfollow friends. You can unfriend friends. You can turn off notifications. You have the ability to create these boundaries inside of your life. There's that word that I love, boundaries, to eliminate these distractions. But here's the deal, mama. It takes some self-discipline and some self-control. And you might have to set aside a little time on the front end to protect your time later on. Now, let's talk about FOMO. FOMO, or the fear of missing out, is this idea that everybody else is doing something, everybody else is having an amazing time, and you weren't invited or you weren't a part of it, right? And I think social media invented FOMO, because before social media, we actually had no idea what other people were even doing with their time anyway, right? But now we know. And again, we're getting everybody's highlight reel. So it looks really amazing. And now that you're in this world of virtual business, there's a really good chance that you're seeing more and more opportunities and success stories and professional development programs and courses than ever before. And so my best piece of advice for you, if you are committed to stopping the FOMO from ruling your actions, is to really sit back and think about what it is that you want. What are your goals for your business? What are your financial goals? What are your lifestyle goals? What do you really want? Because at the end of the day, you could be looking around and having FOMO about something that, if you're honest about what you want, it's really not even a party you wanted to attend in the first place. So get real with what you want, eliminate those distractions, and I promise you the FOMO will start to slip back into the backdrop, and you will realize that you don't have so much on your shoulders. You're not letting these other ideas have power over how you spend your time. The third thing in this little nugget is comparing yourself to other people. Now, they say comparison is the thief of joy. Now, that could or could not be true for you personally. There's two ways I want to look at this. The first is, what if you reframed what comparison meant? What if, rather than looking at it as a bad thing, like the other person has done so much more than you or achieved so much, what if you reframed it to be something aspirational, or even feeling proud for the other person, or looking at ways that you can model or hack how that person has achieved what they have? Because here's the deal, I guarantee you it wasn't by accident. So what if you reframed it that instead of giving the other person power over you so that you feel less than because of their achievements, what if you modeled what's working for them? Or what if you set goals that were in alignment with what they've achieved and modeled it as something that you could aspire to? The other thing I want to say, though, about comparison, this comes from some serious experience coaching hundreds of you free mamas personally, is that a lot of times you guys are making it up. You don't actually realize what someone else has achieved or has not achieved, or the pain or hiccups or doubts or fears that went along with those achievements. We see one post or free mama win shared inside of the Facebook group, and we create an entire story for ourselves about how amazing this person is and all of the wins that they've had and the accomplishments that they've achieved that you haven't. And I just want to let you know that there's always two sides to every story. And it's not that these wins aren't real, but you don't know what took to get there. You don't know what sacrifices were made. You don't know what other losses maybe took place before that win. You don't know the effort or work that went into that win. There's just a whole backstory. And so when we show up on social media and we compare ourselves to what other people have accomplished, yes, it could be the thief of all joy, but also you could be flat out wrong. So taking the mental and emotional weight that this idea of giving other people power over how we spend our time, how we feel about ourselves, how we approach our business and engage in things that aren't serving us, it's really, really unfortunate, and it's very time consuming. The third and final thing I want you to stop doing is looking for the easy way. Oh my goodness gracious. I cannot tell you how many times I encounter people who want, quote unquote, the fast path to cash. You know, they don't want to get rich quick scheme because
that sounds bad. But if you've ever heard me talk about one of my mentors, Myron Golden, he actually says, I don't want to get rich any other way. I don't want to get rich slow. Like, I don't want to make $1 million between now and the time I die. I want to make $1 million in the next year or 5 years, right? Like, I don't want to get rich slow, but I think we need to manage expectations about what it takes to be successful. And so what I want you to know is that it's going to be hard sometimes. If it feels too easy, you're not doing it right. So stop looking for the easy way. As soon as things get hard, stop looking for something new. Stop going and watching another webinar or another course or another Facebook Live to watch and consume, because the thing you should actually be focusing on right now, networking, booking another discovery call, honing in on your skills that you're going to provide, whatever the thing is you actually should be doing. What I see happen over and over again is that as soon as it feels hard, you look for another way. You look for an easy way. You're not honoring what you really want to do. You're bouncing to find an easier way to achieve the same result. And what I want you to know is that the thing that you want will be hard to achieve, not because it's hard in and of itself, not because the service you're going to provide is challenging to learn, although it may be. The reason it's hard is because you are expanding who you are as a human. The thing that you want is on the other side of your comfort zone, which will by definition require you to get uncomfortable. But what happens is that as soon as something feels hard or uncomfortable or unfamiliar, your brain is literally making you retract back to something that feels easier. We want it to feel easy because that feels safe and that feels familiar. But I challenge you to grow. I challenge you to welcome the challenge. And what's really cool is that it actually becomes addicting. Now, you might not be in a place right now where you believe me, and that's okay. I believe that you will get there. But challenging yourself, getting uncomfortable, doing things that scare you, doing things that you've never done before will actually become who you are once you get the ball rolling. But you have to push past the easy way first. I hope that this serves you. I really do. I know that we're in such an interesting time in our world. I know that there are so many excuses right now that feel valid on our hearts. We feel overwhelmed. People's jobs have changed. People have lost jobs. People's financial situations look different. We've added new responsibilities to our plates. But please know that your goals are still within reach. And I actually believe right now there's more opportunity than ever for you to create the type of life that you want while the whole world has shifted and adapted to being virtual and to figuring out how to communicate and connect without physically being together. So please stop doing the things that aren't serving you. Stop hiding where people won't see you. Stop giving other people your power and stop looking for the easy way. And I think that you'll find that your goals are actually a lot closer than you may have thought. Thanks for tuning in.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Free Mama Radio. Don't forget to check out Free Mama TV right here on YouTube for hundreds of how-to videos and interviews to help you start, grow, and scale a virtual business from home. If you want to join a community of tens of thousands of moms just like you, make sure you join the Free Mama Movement group over on Facebook. And lastly, if you want to learn more about how we can do this together, work to achieve your goals, and make you our next success story, check out my free training at thefreemamamovement.com. I'll see you next time.